Hey, coffee lovers, Mark here from Whole Latte Love. Got Nick with me today. We're going to show you how to get your Gaggia Cadorna Prestige all started up, make you a coffee real quick. We'll go through some of the details. If you have any questions during the stream, we got Brian back there. Where are you, Brian? There you are.
Hey, Brian.
He can get the questions out to us. But let's get to, we're going to go, what did we say? We're going to go from...
brand new to ready to brew.
Brand new, ready to brew in just a couple minutes here. Brand new one in the box. Oh, Nick, real quick, tell them about CoffeeCast.
Right, so if you want to take a closer look at the Cadorna and you want to work one-on-one with one of our sales experts, just use our new CoffeeCast service. Link at the footer of our website. Pick a time that works best for you, and we'll pair you up with somebody who knows the machine like the back of their hand.
Like a one-on-one live Zoom meeting.
Right, exactly.
You know, nobody's familiar with those, right?
No, I don't think so.
Except everybody. Okay. Well, let's get this guy out of the box and get you making a coffee and a milk drink real quick, right?
That's right.
The made in Italy Gaggia Cadorna.
Cadorna, that's right. Similar to the magenta that we just covered if you just tuned in, but we've got some key differences here.
We'll get the stuff out. Milk carafe.
Milk carafe. We've got our instructions here. A nice little insert showing you what kind of beans to use for your machine. Great carafe on this as well.
Comes with a water filter too, the Intenza Plus here. We'll show you how to get that going.
Right. Get our carafe opened up here.
Power cord. There. And I'm going to set this down on the ground real quick. Oh, it does have the nice pull handles like those.
Mm-hmm. Paying for that frustration-free packaging there.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Very easy just to get that lifted right out. So again, before we get started, first thing you'll probably want to do is just peel this sticker right off of the front screen here.
Then we have the drip tray here, right?
Yeah, Mike, let's
yeah, get rid of that.
From under there. Perfect. Drip tray, I'll take the tape off. So this blue tinge, what you're seeing there, that's called laser film. That also peels off. It's to protect from scratching while this machine is in transit all the way from Italy.
All the way made in Italy, like all Gaggia products made in Italy.
That's right.
So I'm going to take the power cord here. We'll get that plugged in.
Yeah, just getting this off here. There are just these 3 strips. And then, Mark, let's just do a quick double check to see, too, are there any strips of tape underneath the brew spouts?
Because that's sometimes a thing. And no, the brew spouts are free. I'll get us plugged in here. Oh, yeah, over here.
Perfect. So, slide that on in. And then there was the power switch in the back that you pushed to?
No power switch
no
on
power
this
switch.
No power switch on the Cadorna.
Very good. So first thing we're going to be prompted to do, if we can get a little closer, is just to see our language selection here. So on this machine, you'll notice that the buttons on the sides of the screen, they correspond to different actions. Bottom left is going to be our confirm button. So we're just being prompted yes, and we've saved successfully. A couple quick things that we want to do here. First of all, add water. Sounds pretty reasonable. While you do that,
water goes in here. We'll talk about the machine does come with a filter. We're going to get you making a coffee first, then we'll go over the filter.
That's right. So one thing, just before you get started, this is going to help you out immensely, is before we put beans in the hopper, we're just going to set this to its finest setting. That's going to help you get the strongest coffee you can right from the get-go. And it's much easier to do that when there's no beans in the bean hopper. Our included scoop doubles as a little key. You can see obviously we've got 10 at the top and then the numbers get smaller, so we'll just twist counterclockwise until we can't turn anymore. Now we're at our finest grind setting, so add beans seems reasonable. Got some of our Whole Latte Love Crema Wave, a nice medium roast. Coffee is really all you're going to need. Grinding fresh helps ensure much better flavor, and it's the espresso process that's going to give it that extra strength. So you really don't need or want to use very dark, very oily beans.
And I like the cover here. It's got the nice rubber seal on there for keeping everything fresh inside.
Before we put that on, actually, too, just to point out, bypass doser, use this one level scoop, gets you a cup of coffee.
For a pre-ground.
That's right.
So a lot of times that'd be used for a decaf, that kind of thing. So add beans, yes.
Then
so we'll place containers. So I got the Pyrex over there.
Yeah, so this spout comes installed in the machine. You'll want to keep this handy if you're going to use the carafe a lot. This is just for dispensing water. And when it removes, you put the carafe in its place. What we're doing is just priming our pump real quick. You're not going to need to do this again, unless maybe you've gone on vacation. Sometimes you get prompted just to run a little bit of water through if you've been away from the machine for a long time.
So this is that part we're going to skip for now. So you want to get you making a coffee. This is where we'll show you how to test the water coming up and set the hardness in the machine, which is important.
Yeah, real simple process. So we'll skip for now, and we're just going to leave this. What the water hardness does is it basically tells the machine how many shots you're going to be pulling before you get prompted to descale. So we're going to see another rinse again. We'll get our Pyrex out one more time.
And it's gonna, the machine's just heating up right now as it goes through that, but we get a little progress bar as to what's happening.
That's right.
And we hear sound in there. That's the brew group moving in position.
Moving around. And you will see automated rinsing when you turn the machine on, and also if you have it power down after it's idled for a bit. That's just to keep all your spouts nice and clean so that your coffee is always fresh and hygienic. Doing a quick little rinse there. And then really, I think we'll be ready to brew. Let's just show off how easy it is just to make a cup of coffee.
Make a coffee? Okay.
That's right. So a lot of people, that's one of their first questions they always ask the sales team, does it make a full cup of coffee? And I'm very pleased to say that the answer is yes. So we have an option right on our main screen for coffee. You can see it's at 4 ounces. I'm just going to demo this right here. We'll go into programming later, but let's just say go ahead, press the start stop button.
So yeah, you could have made that a lot bigger or a lot smaller. If you get
a lot smaller.
Get the wrong size cup under there or something, you realize you're not going to have enough room, you can always hit stop during any brewing.
Or do it ×2, right?
Yeah, and make 2 cups.
So our first shot is always going to be a little bit lighter in extraction, just as the machine learns the coffee that you're using and getting used to. So what you're seeing here is actually not uncommon at all. I'm going to pull another shot after this because you can see a pretty dramatic difference right after the first one that you pull. Typically it takes about 6 to 10 shots in order to get calibrated.
The grinder's going to kind of learn, and it's got a little card in there with the machine that's going to let you know about that.
Yeah, so let me just, right there, you can see pre-calibration, post-calibration, and I'd say that's almost a picture-perfect representation because the machine has what's called the Gaggia adapting system. So what that means is that you're not going to need to spend time adjusting your grind, things like that. The brew group will start to learn the coffee that you're using and then basically compensate your grinding cycle for the coffee.
Yeah, so you get the best cup that you possibly can. It just takes a few brewing cycles for the machine to get used to that.
Now let's say though that we wanted to make a cappuccino, or you know what, we'll do a latte macchiato. So this machine has extra tall spouts and an extra tall carafe for those really tall milk drinks. So the carafe has a nice handle that you can use to easily remove it, located on the top. We also have just a little door that pulls open so you can fill this without having to take the entire top of this assembly off. There's a tube that goes down in there. So the first thing that I want to do real quick is just give this a quick rinse. I'll be right back, Mark.
Yeah, and I'll just take you through some of the drinks that you have available on the machine here. And again, you can customize any of these. So we've got espresso, coffee, cappuccino, latte macchiato, espresso lungo, just a longer shot of espresso, Americano, one of my favorites, cafe au lait, which is a espresso first, then milk. We'll see how the milk order switches for different drinks. The cortado, which is a smaller, very coffee-forward beverage. The flat white, latte macchiato XL, cappuccino XL for extra large, of course. Ristretto, and you can get just frost milk. Maybe if you want to make some hot chocolate, you could frost some milk and stir some chocolate into it.
Yep.
That kind of thing. So then we go back, and you were going to do what, Nick? You were going to do a latte macchiato?
We'll do a latte macchiato. I just want to show the lines on the carafe here too. That's just so that you know how far to fill up. So you've got a min for a small cup, and then a min for a tall cup, like that latte macchiato. The carafe itself can go right back into the refrigerator when you're done. One thing I want to point out, on the front of our dispensing spout is a little arm that's sticking out from there. You do need to make sure that the arm is swung open before you insert the carafe into the machine. We've got a little notch here that holds everything securely, so we'll just put that right in. And then let me get you a pretty cup that we can use for our latte macchiato. So Mark, do the honors.
I do the honors. So we'll press latte macchiato. Now it's going to show us exactly the parameters of this drink, and we'll leave it just where it is. How about that? But we could change any of these. We'll talk more about
We'll
the
get into
programming.
that and the profiles, which is one of the really cool features about the Cadorna Prestige.
So like I had mentioned the Cafe au lait or the Cortado, which are going to be espresso first drinks.
That's right.
This drink, the latte macchiato, is going to do milk first.
So one of the great questions we got from our previous live stream was about the difference, say, between Gaggia's Anima machine and the Magenta. And so the Cadorna, kind of being on the same tier as the Magenta as one of Gaggia's newer machines, you have more programming available and more authentic drink preparation. So things like that milk order or brewing a double shot for your flat white, those are all features on a machine like the Cadorna that you're not going to see on some of Gaggia's other models.
And if we look up here, we get the progress bar going up here, showing us, what's going on with the machine.
That's right.
A lot of steam coming up here, so it, of course, heats your milk up to its sweet point.
That's right. You'll see some steam comes out of the sides through the vents as well. That's what they're there for. The machine is getting pretty hot on the inside there.
But really a very nice, a nice foam with this, a nice milk foam.
Nice foam, and then what we're going to see too, nice separation of layers between our heated milk, our milk foam, and then our coffee as well. I can hear we're approaching the end of that cycle. This is one of the not neutral, their Vero latte glasses.
Yes.
Perfect size for this. This is clear. It does come in 5 colors though. Ocean is a new one. If you
you really like the ocean,
the
don't
ocean
you?
ones are very cool.
So we'll see the separation now. Again, our coffee may or may not be, it's not going to be at full strength yet as the
It's already
system
looking
adapts,
a lot richer too though, right there.
but it does look a lot better.
And
you'll
then,
see this
one of my
start to
favorite things,
layer
that
up here.
cascading layering, that's right. Looks almost like planet Jupiter, I feel sometimes, when you see the milk layers mixing there.
So like I said, you could program the amounts here. So if you wanted more coffee in this or more milk or less, and
That's
you
right.
saw we had the option for extra large milk drinks as well.
Right,
on
and that's
here.
why this machine is a little bit taller. So it's based on the Gaggia's Velasca, so it has the same 10 setting grinder in there, which is really nice for dialing in. But you know what we need to do now, real quickly?
A little milk clean.
Let's do a little milk clean, exactly.
So if you were done making your milk drinks for the day,
Yeah.
you weren't going to make another one, you could go in and quickly clean the crafts. Let's see how we
Right,
do
so
that.
we'll go to the clean and setting option because this is where we can go in and then do our water test as well. But so we have 2 menus here. We have settings and we have clean. We go to clean and you'll see we've got quick milk clean. Push that and we're just going to run a little bit of water through here. We'll be able to put the carafe back in the refrigerator, let's say, if we were done with it. It's that simple. So
I like how it took us through. It told us exactly what to do, like place a cup under the spout to catch this, to help you keep things clean.
that's right.
And that's it. So it's just
a
running the
quick
hot
rinse.
water through there, a little quick rinse, and then I'm going to pop it off.
Pop that off, yeah.
And maybe, how about we make a coffee and show some of the programming there?
Yeah, let's show the programming because that's all incredibly straightforward, very intuitive as well. Use another one of our not neutral cups so that I can show off. This red bar actually is a tray that extends from the front of the machine. You can use that. There are holes in there that line up with the spouts so that you can reduce the distance between the cups and the spouts themselves. That helps to reduce splashing. So let's go back into our, you know what? No, we're going to go to one of our coffee lovers' favorites. We're going to go to the Americano.
Oh,
today.
you have my number, Nick.
So let's say we want to program this and customize it.
Can I tell you how I like mine?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So let me go over that first, actually. So if we click Home, that's always going to take us back to the drinks as Gaggia has set them. And these drinks here, they'll always have the same settings, meaning that if you ever want to find True North, you can always go back to that main menu. So let's go to our Americano, though, Mark, and we'll make a few changes for you.
So how about, I'd like a little more coffee in mine, so maybe close to 2 ounces.
So we'll push the button right next to coffee, and you said 2 ounces.
And you can change this to milliliters if you prefer that. I mean, I wish
Exactly.
we would just go to the metric system, but you have both options here.
Okay.
Let's see, let me go like 4.5 ounces of water.
4.5 ounces, you
We're
got it.
close to that. 473 is good.
473. You want full strength on this
I
guy?
want full strength.
So we've got 3 beans showing 4 and 5 is the maximum. One more push would take us, actually no, on this machine they have a dedicated button for pre-ground.
Yeah.
So there we are.
And I want mine hot.
Hot. So Mark, I want you to press this last button right here.
The little heart there,
The little
right?
heart, exactly.
Okay.
And now choose which color profile you want to be your profile.
I love red, so I'll go to the red heart.
And now we've saved that drink in your profile. So we can continue right away and just press start to brew the drink as we've set it. But let's say we go home.
Okay.
Now go ahead and press the My Favorites key and press the red profile. And there's your drink as you set it. So if we pressed edit, you'll see it saved all of Mark's settings. If we didn't press edit and we just pressed brew, it would prepare it just like this.
So I really do like the Americanos a lot. It's what, like, you know, specialty coffee guys like for a longer cup of coffee.
That's right.
Because it makes an espresso, and then you're just adding pure hot water. So the flavor's more pure, more true, if you will.
Right. So, like, for those of you who are looking for a machine that makes a full cup of coffee, for example, the Americano will do that. And what it does differently than the coffee that's as a, you know, a menu option is the first part of the drink is going to be just a shorter shot, right?
Right.
And we're going to stop extracting from the coffee and then just add water.
So not more water through the cup, through the ground coffee.
That's right, but just
adding
more
water.
clean water, exactly. And what that's going to do is it prevents some of the more bitter, kind of carbonized flavors that can come from an overlong extraction, let's say. And some people may prefer that taste, but really what's so cool is that you do have the option to make the Americano. So it does take a little bit longer, obviously, as we switch over to dispensing water, but I think it's worth the wait, honestly, and it's not, you know, huge time constraint either, as you just saw.
So now this is just pure water going in.
That's right.
Again, we get the progress bar, so we know, like, maybe, you know, we got the wrong size cup in there or something. We can always stop it using the stop button over here.
Exactly.
And we're going to be pretty close.
Yeah, we should be.
Should be just about right on, right? I think that's
danger
like
close. We'll pull up our spouts just a little bit here. I think this drink was a little over 6 ounces, and then these cups are 6-ounce cups, but I think that's just so that you're not filling them.
So we can go back in,
dangerously.
and definitely we could do a little edit on that drink, and just, if we know we like to use that cup, we could just reduce, you know, what the espresso or the
That's
water
right.
to make up.
Here, let me see that macchiato there, Mark. I want to, you know, give that a sip, and then we'll go into programming now. So we obviously need to take a look at water.
Oh, and that
hardness.
was hot, boy. That's burn your tongue hot.
Yeah, and so that's something too. A lot of people ask how hot the coffee is. It's very, very hot.
Yeah.
So it's ready to drink, but really you may want to give it a minute to cool. I know some people kind of want to wait and let their coffee sit out for a long time. I would say the coffee is ready to drink as soon as you brew it. And that creme wave too tastes so nice in this. It's like nougat and honey and almond. It's just very, very good in milk. So I would say if you are getting a super automatic machine with an auto frother, try it with creme wave. It's definitely one of my faves. So
should we take a look at getting the filter in there, since the machine does come with a water filter?
let's do our water first, then we'll go to our filter next. If you want to hand me the Pyrex, Mark, what I'll do is get you a water test strip here.
Got
and
one
we'll
right
go
over
into
here.
programming. It seems very German.
Well, you know
That's
what? I'm
some
going to take it right out of here, because I used some water from a pitcher here.
Rinse this just in case we need it again then.
And I'm actually going to add a little water here as well.
So what's really important is that whatever water you're using in your machine, that's the water that you want to test. So let's say, for instance, you are filling a pitcher first and then using that to fill the machine. Test that water, don't test your home tap water. And then if you ever move, for example, make sure that you test your water again so that you know how to set it. Because what's going to happen is that water hardness, that's going to tell the machine how frequently you need to run a descale cycle.
So I've got the strip here. It's just very simple, just 4 squares. So I dip it in the water, give it a quick 1-second swish.
See, I don't think that would work here at Whole Latte Love. We don't have any squares here.
Oh, I like that, Nick. You're good. And then it's about a minute to read this. So I'll slide this back in here. You want to let that sit for a minute.
So while we do that, we will go back to that menu, though. Home, again, is going to take you to your drinks. Clean and setting, that's going to take you to those 2 menus as well. So as we saw in clean, that's where some of our maintenance settings are. Under settings, that's where we can actually start to change things materially for the way the machine works, like our language, the water filter, standby time, that's going to turn the machine off. Units, so like you were saying, Mark, maybe we can
we could go to
we'll live the
milliliters.
metric dream for a moment here and go to milliliters. And then we'll go back in. But on our next page, we do have water hardness as well.
And I think, it looks like we're good here. And like we used a pitcher, and Nick, I'm going with that's 1 red.
That's right. So when we were filling our magenta, it was 2 red, and that was water straight from the tap. This is with a BWT pitcher, so we have gone from 2 to 3. So let's just see here. We'll move down.
To
and
1, right?
I'll flip the script on
yep,
this for
sorry,
you.
I always hold it backwards.
And so you can see we've got 1 red on the left, and then we've got 3 green proceeding on the right. That means this is as soft as the water can be. Go ahead and press confirm for me, Mark. And now we've saved our water hardness, and so the machine will use that calculation to determine how frequently you need to descale. That's also going to be based on the drinks that you're preparing as well.
So let's, since the machine, again, it comes with a filter, so let's get that rolling. I do have a, here's how you get this started up, and all these instructions would come with the filter as well.
That's right. Or we
so
have
it's the
start videos too,
Yes,
where
show
we've
you how-
covered this as well.
So it's an Intenza water filter, and it looks like this. So what you want to do first is get some water in here. So what I usually do is take a bowl, stick it in the bowl, and just give it some squeezes until all the air bubbles come out.
That's right.
And sometimes, this might be like 10 squeezes, and you want to kind of hold it up so this is going upwards.
That's right, because part of the filter activation process involves drawing water from the tank through the filter, and you need to make sure that the filter is thoroughly saturated on the inside so that you can draw water through. Otherwise, you'll be trying to pull air from the dry spots on the filter, and that can cause what's called a vapor lock.
And then there is a setting on the top of the filter. I happen to know, I'm pretty sure it's A if I'm at the
Softest,
very lowest,
right?
At the softest.
That's right.
So it's just a little 3-position guy here. I'm at A. So the way this works, we'll pull out our reservoir, which I probably shouldn't have put so much water in.
Yeah.
And it will go over the white.
It will go over the white, that's
Yes.
correct. So
So
just
it
push
just
that
drops
right down
in.
in there.
Push.
Yep. And you can see there's a little gasket just around the edge that forms a nice seal, and then you're good to just slide that right back into the machine.
And then there's a process right here on the menus.
Yeah, so let's say we wanted to activate it. We would go into our settings, water filter, and then you run the activation cycle, and that's going to activate the water filter. So if you press start, it tells you it's a 2-minute process. So actually, you know what, Mark, let's just do that real quick.
And then we can make a check for questions. Or anything
And
happening
to your
back there,
point,
Brian?
Mark, actually right on the screen here for setting the filter,
Oh.
A is 1 to 2 red squares, so you're right on.
Walks you through it. Memory served me well there. Brian, how are we doing? Anything we can help anybody with?
Yeah, we've got a question. What is the key difference between the 3 models of Cadorna?
You want to take this?
Yeah, so the Cadornas really are distinguished in our catalog by their different milk frothers. So on the base model, that's the Cadorna Barista Plus, it has a true commercial steam wand that it uses to froth milk. So it's going to have the same coffee drinks available as these other machines, but it won't have the same milk drinks, and that's because you're frothing them yourself, so you can really prepare the milk however you want. Now, the Cadorna Milk, and I demoed this in a stream with you, I think, for Cyber Monday, that has a different style of attachment for frothing. So on the Cadorna Prestige, if you want to hand me the carafe, Mark, you do have the...
if you want to hand me the Pyrex over there.
Yeah, we'll trade.
Yeah. I'm going to do a little switch out here. This is rinsing and charging the filter up for us.
That's right. So on the Prestige, we have a carafe. You can lock the arm in. It has a good handle. It just removes from the machine. It's easy to run the auto clean cycles, things like that. And all the components are self-contained. On the Cadorna Milk, you have a separate container that has a pickup tube, and that's a system very similar to how Jura's espresso machines work. That fits over the frothing assembly on the arm, and then milk is drawn into that and then dispensed. You do have the cap and cup frother as well, so that angles the coffee or the milk straight down into your cup. On the Cadorna Prestige, though, you'll find we have some drinks that are labeled as XL drinks, like our Latte Macchiato XL or our Cappuccino XL. And so that means that when we go into the programming of these drinks, we have larger maximum ranges that we can set those beverages to compared to some of the ones on the Cadorna Milk, for example. But, the Cadorna Milk, if you watch my live stream, you can do some manual milk frothing with that and get some really good milk foam too. So that's the key difference, though. So that's a great question.
Yeah, and I was just curious because we're on the Latte Macchiato here, just how tall you could go. And it goes 340 milliliters of milk. That's about 11 ounces of milk. If my 30 milliliters per ounce, or about a little over 11 ounces.
That's right.
And the coffee, you can increase this probably. Well, let's just take a look, shall we?
That's right. So those XL beverages just take advantage of the extra
3
tall
ounces.
spouts that we have here.
So
3
you're about a
ounces makes
14-ounce drink on the XLs is where you can
That's
go.
right.
And I will mention just one thing to keep in mind that you know, that's giving you the amount of milk in milliliters or ounces, but different milks have slightly different frothing qualities, so it's like an estimate, pretty good estimate.
Right, because what are you doing when you're frothing? You are adding volume from the air that you're injecting. Different milks hold foam differently, and so that's all been factored in. We recommend using whole milk if you want the best results from the auto frothing systems.
Yeah, we do find that, you know, if you like the non-dairy milks, though, we've done some testing, and a lot of those will work just fine.
They will.
There are some differences between brands. I would recommend staying with unsweetened varieties of those, so you're not putting a lot of extra sugars through.
That's right, and you know, if you always wanted to add more milk too, there's the option in the menu just to do frothed milk. And so let's say you wanted to top your macchiato or cappuccino with a little bit more foam, you can always just do that instead.
Yeah, yeah.
Brian, any other questions?
Yeah, we have another one. Domenico loves the look of the Academia because of the flow control knob on the front of it.
Yeah.
And is wondering if there's anything you can do on the Cadorna to kind of simulate that as well.
I mean, you have a grind size adjustment.
That's right.
Like, you know, if you're looking at the Academia, I think that's, I mean, you know, more expensive machine, obviously, all metal construction, glass front or stainless front, really nice machine. But like if you're going between really long coffees and really short espressos, I think the flow control really helps you a lot.
Yeah, and you know, the other thing to keep in mind too, the Academia, being Gaggia's premium machine, does have the most programmability when it comes to the different drinks that you can make. So you do have the flow control knob, which is a feature I think exclusive to the Academia on any super, but you also have 4 settings for pre-infusion as well. So the Cadorna does have a built-in pre-infusion, so you'll hear the pump run and then there's a pause before you start extracting. But the Academia has that available in 4 settings, one of them being where it just runs the pump without pre-infusing at all. So you can pull great drinks on the Cadorna, and there's a lot of flexibility. If you want the most control possible, that's when you'd really look at something like the Academia.
Yeah. Anything else, Brian?
Yeah, how often does this machine need to be descaled, and how do you do it?
Okay, so let me take that. So the frequency of descaling is going to depend on your water hardness.
That's right.
And whether you're using a filter or not. So if you use a filter, I think it's somewhere in the range of 30 to 50% longer until you have to descale. Now I do know, like for an Academia that we took a look at the other day, and I imagine this machine is going to be very similar, that with our water, and I wasn't using in a filter in a machine that I did this test on, it was about 530 drinks until it told me to descale. Our water softness from the tap is, you know, what I was using is like at the 2.
That was around the 2, that's right.
2. If you were using, you know, we just used the BWT pitcher, that's at a 1. That's probably going to take it up a few hundred drinks. If you use the Intenza Plus filter that comes with the machine, of course that needs to be replaced after a while.
That's correct.
The machine will tell you when. But that's going to significantly extend the descaling frequency.
That's right, and I mean, and if you're not sure which of the 2 kinds of filtration options to consider, obviously you could see there was an entire bar of softness that we gained from using something like the BWT. You will be prompted either way to descale the machine, so that's important just to take note of when you're buying your accessories too. You should grab yourself a bottle of descaler, and then actually, Mark, I think you've got one right there.
Right over here.
Oh, it's over here actually. So we wanted to show how to descale. That again is just back in our clean menu.
Oh, you want me to go there?
Yeah. And then it's on that side, I feel like.
Yeah, no problem. So basically what we do, I don't want to start this right now because it doesn't need it.
We need a whole other stream, I think. 25
But
minutes.
basically you take, you know, the descaler here, you add it to the water reservoir. The machine walks you through the whole process.
That's right.
It's really, really pretty easy. And as you can see, it's a 25-minute process about.
The short version is basically you add descaler and water, it gets run through the machine, and then after it's run enough, you'll add clean water to rinse it. Once you've rinsed it enough, you're ready to brew again.
Right. Anything else, Brian?
Show us where the dump box is.
The dump box.
The dump box. Shall we do that?
Yeah.
All right.
Pulls right out. So this
Right here?
machine borrows the front-loading design from the Velasquez. So you have your water reservoir and your dreg drawer located right in the front.
Might as well show the brew group here, too.
That's right. So if you want to remove that again, we can open the side. This is where our brew unit is located. This is where all of our coffee is made. So we have a little tray underneath to catch drips and loose grounds. The entire thing can be removed. There's just a little tab and little spots for your fingers here. You pull that out once a week, give it a good rinse, let it air dry overnight, put it back in the machine the next day. These do have a little bit of play, so you want to just make sure that you firmly reinsert it, and that way the machine will recognize that the brew group is successfully returned to the correct position.
And if we see the screen, this machine tells you everything that you need to do. So if we're looking, it's telling me to put the coffee puck container back in. So I will do that.
There are sensors in different spots on the machine, and obviously we've returned right to the page we were on. We're going to hit back, go to home.
So we didn't want to descale, so we'll just take it back.
Oh,
we're good to go.
Box fresh, so I don't think we're quite ready yet.
Okay. Anything else, Brian? All right. Well, listen, Nick, thanks so much for joining me to take everybody through the Cadorna here. Really nice machine. We've got other videos. We just in fact, an hour ago, we were taking a look at the model below this, right?
The Gaggia Magenta Prestige.
The Magenta Prestige. But thanks again, Nick. Thank you guys for watching. Again, if you want a personal demo, you can schedule a CoffeeCast at our website.
Yep, right on the footer.
It's kind of like a Zoom, one-to-one Zoom meeting, so you can ask questions.
Maybe a little cooler than just your standard Zoom meeting for sure.
But we'll have the machine out there for you, give you a full demo if you like. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here soon for more of the best in everything coffee, brought to you by Whole Latte Love.